Salutations, dear viewers, Ron with the Next of the Vast Nexus, and welcome to yet another ARC highlight video. This time we're going to be tackling a cave that I've had some reluctance in going into, the Lava Cave. If you wonder why I've had some reluctance, the name in and of itself should allude as to why it's not exactly a great place to go into. However, I have discovered that the artifact in the lava cave is actually a lot easier to get to than I thought it was, and I actually discovered that entirely by chance. So once again, we're using the green orb as a point of reference, and we're basically just going to follow the easternmost coastline to near its southern tip. And if any of my viewership wants a clearer picture, so the lava cave, the lava will not insta-kill your dinos, but I think it deals a fixed thing of 75 points of damage every 2 seconds, give or take. Unless your dinos are very high leveled, it will ultimately kill them fairly quickly, and unless you're high leveled, I think it ignores armor too. So, long story short, you just really want to stay out of the lava. So, as another data point, that's, I believe, the community generally refers to as Herbivore Island down there, but we are looking for a circular cutout in an elevated section of rock with a clear cliff face, and I think we're coming up on it. Ah, yeah, here we are. So there's Herbivore Island. Out there in the distance, we have this nice little outcropping. I'm actually going to give Spelunky a little healing hit because I've gone through this cave recently. Just till we run out of stam. I know. Oops, sit down. There's my otter. Now this cave can get insanely hot, which is why... Why is my hat back? Oh, I get it. Because I'm not actually wearing the, There we go. That fixes it. Sort of. Now I can't see anything. So this cave is incredibly hot, and there are, consumable items you can use for thermal protection. I would recommend those. My ghillie gear is actually pretty decent. We got 2 Mastercraft, 2 Journeyman, and an Ascendant level, and combined with the Otter, I can handle the heat of this cave without needing to worry. I also have, what is it? Yeah, 20 points into my own fortitude. So, the cave temperature doesn't pose an issue for me. Just don't assume to be able to tackle this without taking the necessary heat protective precautions, especially if you're going to be using a torch for illumination, as I am. Bring glow sticks for an alternative. You could use flashlights. I would not recommend the miner's helmet. It always illuminates at a downward angle, and not very much. It's literally intended just to illuminate a workspace if you happen to be mining in the dark. Glow sticks are a far better option, and again, if you're going to make the point that, well, I can't get glow sticks because it's not on the island. Crystal Isles, Valguero, all the aberration resources, for the most part, can be found there. So, you can get yourself some glow sticks and then just jump them across the arc. Is that a Megalania Egg? Oh, it is. There was one camped over by the lava. fact, I think Megalania eggs are one of the few that can be used for extraordinary kibble. Okay, now I'm trying to remember... I remember that I swung left. Yeah, and I followed this trail down. Yeah, that first branching tree. You don't want to go on the pathway that has like the lava flow, because that just screams, don't go down this way. You're going to skip that. On the next turn, you're going to swing a left. You're going to look for this very precarious Z-shaped channel. If you can, do not fight on that. Very bad. Now, again, you can expect to see lots of Arthropleura. Oh, actually, no, I don't think I've actually seen Arthropleura in here. You can expect to see Pulmonoscorpus, which, of course, Bug Spray has no effect on, so don't expect that to save you. Onyx, which Bug Spray does work on, along with Aranio, and a lot of Dilophosaur, and I'm a little curious as to why the Dilophosaur are in this cave in particular, because for most of the caves you encounter, they aren't. So you're going to notice a very hot lava chamber over there. We're going to swing right. And we're going to keep right until we get to this jump. Now, generally, for the safety of all of you, as well as my own, I usually don't advocate passageways which require jumping, but the artifact chamber in this particular cave, or the artifact itself, cannot be reached without jumping. You could use grappling hooks and so forth, but sooner or later there is a pool of lava that you are going to have to cross, which means that you're not getting this artifact in relative safety. You're going to have to take a leap for it. So I got a nice running jump there. Now, you can swing around to the right or head straight across. I'm going to swing around to the right, but we're near the chamber, although, unfortunately, by the looks of things, the artifact has not respawned. Now, I didn't verify before I came in here that this artifact wasn't going to pull the same crap that the Skylord artifact pulled, and not respawn. Oh, yeah, here they come. Not in the lava, not in the lava. So, here is where the artifact would be. And we are going to cut here. Now, alright, here we are, boys and girls. Luckily, this artifact spawn does, in fact, work. For some reason, it just seems to be Skylord that's, like, really screwing up. Yes, here is the artifact of... the Massive. I don't know how Massive and Lava Cave relate. That seems a little strange. Probably not the weirdest thing in Ark, I know. Wait a minute. Behavior. Passive. I would recommend putting Tames to passive, because having them not on passive is a great way for them to aggro on something and then go chasing it into the lava. It's not fun. Now, the Otter, as I've mentioned before, is dual purpose. In addition to providing critical insulation, level in damage for better insulation, it is the only creature in this entire game, including the player, that can have multiple artifacts of any type. And I have actually been forced to adjust my artifact collection policy, so to speak, so that I am collecting 7 of each artifact, and the reason for that is because I'm actually going to get a little bit of distance so that it can respawn again, because I do need to collect multiples of each artifact. Because I'll cut into the footage of me leaving the cave, because I made some important points there. But the thing is, you need the trophies, if I'm not mistaken, of, like, of higher difficulty versions of the bosses. Like, you need, like, the Alpha Dragon trophy to unlock, like, the Alpha Tech Cave and so forth, which means that you need to use the trophies from beating the creatures to open higher levels of the thing, which means you need to beat the creatures multiple times if you want to have a redundancy of those trophies that you can hang up on a wall. Which means that I can't just, like, fight Gamma once, and then Beta, and then Alpha. I have to fight them twice so that I have one trophy to use as tribute, and another trophy that I can actually hang up and display in my base. Which you'll all see when it's finished. I'm not using creative mode to build it, which means that I'm being forced to gather huge amounts of metal and stone and wood, and it's literally taken days of... Because I'm not doing that exclusively, I'm running around doing other things, but it's taken days to put that together. Anyway, we're going to be teleporting to me being outside again, and I'll drop my outro then. I'm going to give you a little advice on getting out before we do that, but if you do choose to take a berry, and if I haven't made it clear by now, the berry is the caving tame. If you choose to take a berry, when you jump these gaps, do not sprint while jumping. I had an incident where I bounced off of a rock and fell in the lava and got stuck between a wall. So just wait to the edge and then do a normal jump. Yes, there's a large, expansive area of this cave that is completely unnecessary if your focal point is retrieving the artifact. If you take the route I took, it is probably the most direct route, and with the exception of those last few jumps, for the most part, you don't even have to deal with the lava. There is this jump. This is tricky, of course, because if you fall in here, you're not finding something shallow enough to climb back out of. Critically, though, over-jumping is impossible because it's a solid wall, so you're going to want to do a sprint jump there just to make sure you get enough energy. Now, come to think of it, I'm probably just going to, like, roll in footage of the artifact at its location when I get there, so I'm probably just going to head out of the cave, make it clear on the other way around. So yeah, this is a really simple path to remember. You've got some pretty obvious landmarks you can go work off of. Nope, I have to go a little bit further forward. Find the right-hand turn. Yep, opposite this lava flow, but there will be another lava flow on my way out. Yep, that's the one. And then it's pretty much just a straight shot to the exit, I think. And we're out. So yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed in that it didn't respawn, but it won't be a problem for all of you, because you'll have the footage rolled in of me grabbing it once it does, assuming it actually does. If not, you'll have footage of me talking about having to use simple spawners to actually put a spawn in there, which was the solution I had to use for the artifact of the Sky Lord in the Northern Cave, the really cramped one that sucked, and in the video I did of that, I made a big stink about the fact that it doesn't respawn. I suppose it's a bit, you know, irrelevant for the purposes of this video, but I've seen on forums that Wildcard apparently never even put a spawn point, or at least a respawn point for the artifact in that cave, which it spawns the first time and servers don't have a problem. I don't understand how that works. But yeah, in single player, it literally just never respawns. I mean, nobody in the forums discussing that matter countered the point by saying that it didn't. Then again, if they were commenting in that forum, they had the same problem. So those who did have it respawn, if those people running single player even exist, wouldn't even have reason to go in the forum and comment that, yeah, it does spawn. Usually the solution they suggest is to open your map as a non-dedicated server, but there's also responses from people saying that they tried that and it didn't help. So I just use simple spawners, which is one of several mods I'm actually running, because I do find that Arc is a lot better with mods than without. I just use simple spawners to actually place an artifact with the Sky Lord spawn point in there. And if this spawn point decides to be problematic, I'm going to have to place a simple spawn point in there too for the same reason. Hopefully that won't be an issue. Alright, and for all of you it'll have been a little bit of a jolt, but otherwise seamless. But here we are outside the cave. That's it for the lava cave and the artifact of the massive. Of course, I will have to re-enter the cave to retrieve it several more times, because the only artifact I've actually cheated into my possession was Skylord, because the cave is broken and the devs never got around to fixing it. Then again, they never even got around to giving an ascension for Scorched Earth, but I'll try not to hold that against them. Anyways, these videos come out very sporadically. There was a massive gap between... There was a massive gap between the last set and these ones. I'm actually using an entirely new survivor. My original map was wiped clean, but my next cave will probably be the Swamp Cave, because I've already scouted that. I already have 6 of the 7 artifacts that I'm going to need. I had it cleared and liked that, because it is just full of things. But now I'm probably going to have to go back in there. But that'll provide a better example of the kind of resistance you'll be facing in the cave, because when I took the lava cave just now, I basically was able to make a clean shot straight for the artifact without a fight, which does not give an accurate portrayal of what it was like, or what it'll be like for you going in there, because, yeah, I had to do some fighting. You're fine if, like I said, get a berry, get it high level if you can. We're talking... Anything that's like 100 plus is high level. I mean, those who get into breeding and so forth will be going on and on about how, like, you know, a dinosaur starting at 150 is nothing. You can breed for 160, 170. You can breed for attributes up to 200. You know, get stack mutations, etc., etc. Point is, you can probably pull it off with a 150. Slap a good saddle on there. Obviously, Ascendant would be best if you have one. And it can handle the jumps. That initial jump that I took, that was also my last one on the way out, is probably the trickiest. You really want to get your timing down. Unfortunately, your alternative would be to go without a dino, because you can't use grapples and so forth if you're on a dino. Although, alternatives, because this video's already running a little long, alternatives for getting through there. Gliding creatures are good, specifically terror birds. If you have access to Genesis, the Bog Spider, the Bloodstalker, is another good option, because it can rope swing out of lava and cling to walls. Megalania can cling to walls, but you've got a lot of irregular terrain. It's a little bit risky if you try that. A lot of the caverns are big enough that you could probably fit something bigger, like a rock drake, but you'll need to cryo it in. And to some extent, I've actually managed all of these caves without having to resort to having to cryo a creature in them. Then again, for most of these caves, I've used the baryonyx. So, yeah, I mean, not the underwater caves, and there is still the Caverns of Lost Hope to deal with. It's going to be a while before I'm ready for that. That's probably one of the worst caves to have to deal with. The fact that it's underwater is a definite factor. Although, for the record, I have to say that between it being broken in single player, the fact that even if you die without falling to your death, you can lose your loot in the map, because I had that happen to me during a recent subsequent attempt to handle the northwestern cave, or whatever. I'd probably say that that cave with the Skylord artifact is the worst. Sure, you can tackle it with, like, an assault rifle and a shotgun, get some, like, antidote and some healing brews and whatever, and if you know the path, or you suss out the path by going through it, you don't even have to jump over the death pits. But just the way that cave is cheapening, is cheap to you, is just garbage. So, highest difficulty is undoubtedly the Caverns of Lost Hope, but the worst cave is the northern one. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you come back to watch the rest of the series. I hope you'll watch other things that I've done. I've said this so many times, I'm irritating myself. I mean, if you watch YouTube, if you've seen any YouTube videos, you should know what to do. I shouldn't have to explain it to you. I don't know why I am. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, fare thee well.